in the studio by Gareth Robertson and Emma Sanders, and across the other side of Liverpool by Cam Rimmer, it is. And we're going to talk about Liverpool's fantastic performance last night. And, well, I say fantastic performance. You know, they had to dig deep, Gareth, for periods of it, but they came through and second half looked the better team. And, yeah, we got to enjoy the last sort of 15 minutes, just holding out and seeing it through.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that stands out for me really is just the standard or the quality of the head and the heart of Liverpool, really. You know, a lot of people would have watched the first half and panicked a little bit maybe and being like, you know, this is our big opportunity. This is our game in hand. We're not taking the opportunity. That kind of thing. And, you know, you did, yeah, can talk about a fast start and, okay, we forced a few corners. But then Arsenal grew into it and we saw, you know, why they're in the form they are. We saw that they're a good side. They caused Liverpool some problems without actually putting a shot on target. And like, as I say, I think lesser sides, lesser groups, may well have got to them. Whereas Liverpool were really calm about it. Liverpool backed themselves and then they started to cause Arsenal problems and obviously went on to win the game. And as you say, we could end up enjoying it almost by the end. But when I talk about the head and the heart as well, I just think it was epitomised by Andy Robbo in that, you know, the way he goes and wins that ball over on the left. You know, it was a lost cause, and he goes over and does it. And I seen, you know, Johnny Milburn comparing it to McMahon.
Oh, I watched it with him last night. He was banging on
Yeah,
about it. I
yeah.
was like, come on the post-match pints if you want, mate.
Yeah. You know, and that was a moment that we all love where McMahon keeps it in, falls into the crowd, runs back, takes it round a fella, crosses it in. Beardsley, I think it's Aldo who eventually puts it in, isn't it? But it was one of those moments where you've chased a lost cause and it's ended up leading to a goal. And you could see a conversation between Robbo and Klopp at the end where Robbo was pointing to his head. And I think I like to think he's saying, like, you know, I didn't give up, boss, type of thing. Do you know what I mean? Because it was that type of day. It was that type of performance. Massive win for Liverpool. And, you know, when I watched City the other day, I'm obviously looking for negatives and I'm a Liverpool fan and all the rest of it. But I saw them having a go at each other. I saw De Bruyne losing his shit a little bit. And so I like to think that Liverpool are perhaps mentally stronger than City are. And that's going to tell as the season goes on.
Do you enjoy yourself, Cam?
Yeah, it was alright. Yeah, no, it was it was boss. It was easy getting up this morning, like, you know what I mean. But oh no, it was brilliant. And then just just thinking about it before, like when that second went, it was just the relief. It was just unbelievable. And then Klopp coming over doing like, you know, the fist pumps, and I was just boss. As the guy was saying, then there's such a togetherness now in the squad, isn't there? Like you look at City and you don't really get that vibe from them. It's just like a team of superstars, really. But all of us, it's a team of superstars, but they're all just like a big gang of mates as well, aren't they? They're just going for, and yeah, it was just unbelievable.
With the feeling in the ground then, did you know, with the first half when it's not necessarily going as you wanted to, was the anxiety there, or did you feel like, listen, the boys will sort it out. If we get to half time, they'll sort it. And listen, the quality of the bench helped as well, didn't it?
Yeah,
In terms of how we all felt about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like in the first half, it was one of the more nervous I've been in the season, but I think that's natural for this part of the season. Now, it wasn't in terms of, don't think the team's got in them. But I think at first, I'm not going to lie, in the first half, I thought Arsenal, I just sussed a bit, but then it was just the quality came over in the second half, and we all knew eventually what was going to happen. It was going to be fine. But yeah, it was just, I've seen Neil Atkinson at half time, then at the end of the game, and he was a lot different compared to.
You know what I mean? How he is in work, mate. To be honest with you, hour by hour.
Yeah, there was a few nervous faces on the concourse at half time, like I'll put it that way.
Absolutely. It needs to be remembered, Emma, that Arsenal are a good team. They're likely to finish fourth this season, and you know, back in the day, when me and Robbo were young and handsome, at away, he's still handsome to be fair, but away at Arsenal used to be you take a draw, you bite your hand off at a draw. Now, you know, every game's must win, and that just sort of adds to the tension, to what Cam's talking about the nerves on concourses and things like that. But the fact that the players are just able to rise above it and go, oh, must win, Sam, we'll just do it, just speaks volumes for them.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, happy birthday to Gibbo. It's his birthday today. 21.
Oh, yeah. Christ. Plus 19.
Yeah. Give or take. You're right. The magnitude of a game against Arsenal, I think, you know, people forget sometimes how difficult it still is because of the kind of the historic rivalry between the clubs. Yes, at the end of the day, Liverpool's quality was what won the game. It was, I know Mikel Arteta said this afterwards, it was the moments in the two boxes. Liverpool were just better when it came to their chances. But just the general feeling around the game. It was a bit nervy. It was obviously a must win. It was a must win for both teams, but especially for Liverpool, given obviously what's at stake with the title. So I think just to kill that momentum, the fact that they rode almost that first half where arguably Arsenal played the best that they could play in this current moment, and Liverpool rode that and then just got those 2 goals, 2 chances, 2 goals, that was it. And the game was done by the hour mark. And I think that shows the difference now between this Liverpool side and perhaps one, in the past, and even ones in the early days of Klopp, where they started to show the quality. They didn't have the maturity and as Gareth mentioned earlier, perhaps the mentality to be able to just see out those games with ease. And the fact that they've gone away to Arsenal and come away from a win, which was what was expected, and they've almost just gone, yep, job done, move on. And it's not, the players haven't made out like it's a historic win, but to us as fans, if you're looking at that, like I say, even 5-6 years ago, that would have been one of the games of the season, going to the Emirates and winning 2-0. Now it's just it's almost like it's another game, it's another win in a series of wins in a season where that's what needs to be done, just win.
Yeah. Do you look like they back each other, Gareth? I enjoyed, TAW having a bit of a laugh afterwards about, I should have been man of the match. I got 2 assists and stuff like that. And it just shows that they're able to feel like, do you know what, if I make a mistake, it's not the end of the world, because A, it happens, and B, we've got the best goalie in the world. And I also saw Klopp after the game saying, yeah, it was a shit pass, but he doesn't need me to go and tell him. He knows. Do you know what I mean? And it's they trust each other, I think, as adults, as men, and as elite footballers, and that seems to be whoever's on the pitch as well. And it's not going back to a few years where it was like, well, we got 8 or 9 good players, and then hopefully they're all fit, and then we'll throw a couple more on and see how we got on. Now you're talking like 16, 17 elite players, and whoever is on the pitch, they back each other to almost deal with any situation.
Yeah, the spirit is second to none, and the togetherness is second to none, and you can see that all the time. It must be fun for them to go to work, and any time that it's fun to go to work is a good thing. And look, they're fighting at the very top, they're fighting for every trophy, and yet, they're also relaxed, they're doing interviews, they're having a laugh, they're laughing off the fact that, like Thiago nearly teased them up for a goal. And look, you can see that as well. I mean, I one of the things I liked about the game early on was the fact, Arsenal were obviously up, the crowd was up, you could hear them, they were right behind the team, they fancied the chances, and they were pressing us high, and they were having a real good go, and there was loads of energy about them. And Liverpool were just playing it round at the back, knocking it round, using the keeper. And, the confidence to do that in such a big game. I mean, Klopp said himself, if it had been me, I would have tried to hoof it. Whereas, Thiago's always thinking about football and trying to play football, and he just made a mistake. But he was actually, I have to say, he was actually annoying me a little bit in the first half. I mean, I'm sure he would say Arsenal were blocking passing lanes and things like that. But he was playing it simple too often for me. And I was like, you're in the side to break down this kind of thing. And then, of course, he goes and does what he does. And you're like, oh, okay, let you off now, mate. Because he does find the pass that we needed to unlock Arsenal in the end. A shout for Bobby as well. I just thought he was absolutely magnificent when he came on. And he closed the door to Arsenal all of a sudden, so obviously he scores the goal and he gets the plaudits for that. But I thought defensively as well, he was absolutely brilliant. His intelligence, his running, his energy, it was exactly what Liverpool needed in that moment. And there's a telling thing for me on Monday Night Football where they were actually talking about Lukaku and, his facts and figures, and obviously the famous 7 touches in the game and all that kind of stuff. But they were talking about the amount he regularly runs. It's not a lot. But top of the league for it was Firmino. And I know people don't like that, but that energy, that will, that desire, every single time he's on the pitch, that's why the manager loves him. And it made a big difference last night.
Yeah, Sajjad's in the comments here, he says, special mention to Bobby, what a player, so glad Klopp made the changes earlier than usual. I don't know how close you were to getting a snog off Bobby, Cam, but I'm sure you wanted to give him one in that moment. And he has come to the party there, like so many have done throughout the season at different times. Different forwards or even just different players have stepped up. We've even had old Divock Origi winners at Wolves and stuff rolling back the years. And Bobby, we've not really seen him for a month. He's not sort of been about. I mean, obviously he loves playing at Arsenal, but having the option like Sad just says there, to bring on 2 elite forwards early in the game as well. Klopp said afterwards, I did it for the energy, and as Gareth says before, he's got plenty of it, and he sort of puts himself about. To be able to bring those 2 on about, I think they were readying them on 55, able to come on, and the fact that they're able to come on and make a big difference, is such a gift for the manager.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine being Arsenal last night and seeing them 2 warming up and you're just like, oh, come on, sort of thing. But again, it's a sign of champions, isn't it? The way all different players are coming in, they're coming to the fore. Like, Fabinho, for example, is on near enough double figures for goals. Like, that's a defensive midfielder. But yeah, Firmino, I'm glad he had his moment last night because, like, in our end, like, that seems to be, like, it's always like one of the constant songs, even when he's not playing, like the Firmino song, do you know what I mean? It's just one of them and just made up for him. And I think that last night was just a sign of, like, he just wanted to just get into the crowd, didn't he? And the lads who have, who hugged him and all that, they've already updated the profile pictures on Facebook already. I was smashing the likes, but yeah,
I've still got me in storage from after Madrid.
But I know it was just boss, wasn't it? I think it was like, I think like he needs that sort of moment as well, because I think over like the last, like throughout the season, like all the other strikers have come to the fore, haven't they? And he hasn't really had that like moment, as you said, like Origi had his at Wolves. And by all means, I'm happy with like any player, whoever is on the pitch, having one of these moments before the end of the season. Long may they keep running into our ends as well.
Yeah, to have them, all feeling confident going into this, which is the business end of the season. Andy Robertson mentioned it after the game, didn't he? He says, I feel like I think he used the word sprint finish now. Someone made the point to me when we were watching it, the fact that it's gone from 10 games down to 9, the fact that it's single figures in league games, feels like something. It does feel like, we're in the home straight, we're ready to go. We know this team can thrive in these conditions because they've done it before and they look determined to do it again. But the more players you have playing well and in form, and you're able to rotate to bring them in and out, for the relentlessness of the fixtures, the better. And Bobby's another one now. He's throwing his hand up and said, "Yeah, I'm ready, boss, for this time."
Yeah, 100%. And when I saw the team come out before kickoff, and obviously Salah was on the bench, which I wasn't surprised about in the slightest. Like, there was no part of me that was concerned about, what Liverpool would look like without Mo Salah, because I was like, well, there's Salah on the bench, there's Bobby on the bench. You start with Mane, Diaz, and it's like, come on, Jota, obviously, and it's like the players that are now at Liverpool's disposal, and I can't really think of a player who's out of form at the moment. Like, yes, players will have dips during games, and they'll have the odd, game here and there that they're not at their best. But I don't think there is a player in Liverpool's, starting 11 for sure that's out of form. I mean, Henderson perhaps hasn't had his best season in recent months, but even him in the last couple of games, he's looked pretty good. So yeah, I just think it's the best time for all of the players to start hitting their peaks in a season, and this is what you want. I know football's a bit different, but you speak to like elite athletes from like other sports, like athletics and stuff, and they almost peak their training for the moments where they win stuff. So they'll train for however long, 2 years, but they want to be in the ultimate shape for when that Olympic final comes around. And it's almost like in a Premier League season, ideally you want your players to be at their absolute best when you've got 9-10 games to go in the season and you're in a title race. So it's almost like it's all starting to come together. And as you say, I think just looking at the table and just seeing, the games just go down and down and down. The fact that Liverpool know where they stand now, there's no games in hand. Everyone's kind of on the same level pegging. And it sounds simple. It's obviously not. But if Liverpool win every game between now and the end of the season, they've won the title. They know what the job is. And I think that makes such a big difference, just going into every game knowing this is what we have to do. Let's just go out and do it.
We talked a lot about the attacking talent, Gareth, but I think that axis of the goalie at the back, who we have mentioned, Virgil and Matip in front of them, and then Fabinho. I thought Fabinho was excellent last night, and having those 4, and I think Canate can come in, as well. But those 4 on the pitch as much as possible just gives you such solidity, and just it's so impossible to almost to kind of break through. And for all their good football, and it was there, and Martinelli's obviously dangerous, down the left hand side and things like that. But when it was coming into the middle, they were just dealing with it, and even when they weren't dealing with it, the keeper boxed it. Do you know what I mean? And so you were talking about being a Liverpool fan watching City, which was a lot of us on Monday and looking for pick holes. You know, if I'm a City fan looking at Liverpool at the moment, I think you're struggling, and I don't think that's too biased, because even when other teams are on top, you must be thinking, yeah, but they're not creating any chances, and they're one of the best teams in the league.
Exactly that. I mean, Arsenal, I think across the 90 minutes have managed 2 shots on target. And they're at home, they're flying, they're a form team, they come out the traps, they got the crowd behind them, and Liverpool just deal with it. And I think Matip for me is the player of the season. I think Everton tends to come down his side because people don't want to go one-on-one with Virgil for obvious reasons. So they go for Matip, they go for Trent, and Matip just deals with it time and time again, and he's so calm, he's so improved. And I loved the other day when Klopp was talking about him, and he was asked a question about him, and he almost looked like a proud dad the way he sort of answered it. And again, you just get the feeling that he's well loved in the team, well loved in the squad, and all of that matters. They all graft for each other. And as I say, or as you said, the idea of finding what Liverpool's weakness is, well, I feel like they're all struggling. I mean, Neville mentioned, going down Trent's side again. And okay, they did that, and Martinelli played well. And, the run where he does Trent twice and Megs Hendo and all the rest of it was fantastic to watch, to be fair. Well, not really as a Liverpool fan, but you know what I mean? It was good football.
Yeah.
But it doesn't result in anything, as you say. There's always someone there with the foot in. They're defending really well. I think it's 6 clean sheets in the last 8. And once upon a time we used to talk about clean sheets as being huge for winning league titles, and then we tried to forget about it when we had Brendan as manager. But now it's coming back into form again, and we all like it again. But no, it's absolutely huge to be in form at both ends of the pitch at this time of the season. City have got to be worried. There's no two ways about that. The manager and the players are mentioning us all the time, and we love that, and we love to say that we're in their heads. But we are. No side has ever won the league having been 14 points behind at any point. And here Liverpool are. They've gone from way out in the odds to now about 6-4. And we were saying, a lot of us were saying on these shows, we still got a chance. It's not done. It's not over. And like I say, I've said loads of times, national journalists who have paid a lot of money to analyse football were saying it was done. We're saying that it was going to take, Devon Lock proportions to see Liverpool come back in this race. Well, it's happened, and here we are. Yeah, and isn't it fantastic?
I know. I remember doing 5 Live. I think it was, in the presenter group saying, "Yeah, it's done though, isn't it?" And I was like, "No, I don't think he does." I was having him on, but I believed it because that's what this team is capable of. And listen, Cam, we've got a Champions League draw on Friday. Someone's just mentioned it there. By the way, we'll be doing a live reaction to that. So Talking Reds Live, which Gareth's hosting. I'm trying to visualize the calendar in front of me. Gareth's doing the video. We'll be doing an audio reaction, which will be recorded as well. So so we'll watch it tomorrow. So if you YouTube or more video inclined, there'll be the Talking Reds a little bit later tomorrow, and then the audio reaction as well. But I'm sure you've dusted off your passport, Cam, and you're hoping for to get on a plane and not from Liverpool to Manchester.
Well, me bank account's telling me just get an English team. But
Chelsea, you won't be able to go. There you
go. Perfect, isn't it? Perfect. But I think the one we were all saying coming home, Villarreal, a few nights in Benidorm, just to ease our way into the last few weeks of the season. But do you know what? It's past even the point of trying to avoid them. You've got to play everyone at some point. But I honestly, over 2 legs, I don't fear anyone at all. And a few people in the comments there saying about playing City 3 times in the bounce, and I think we'd get into their heads even more before that league game. Like, imagine if we got
Bernardo Silva's head's going to explode. Do you know what I mean? With the amount of Liverpool that's going on for him already.
Do you know if that was one of our players doing that post-match interview the other night? Honest to God, you'd be furious when you're like, why even bring them up? But yeah, honestly, just take honestly, to have anyone at all. And also with the semi-final draw as well, made as well, isn't it? You find out who you can play in the semis as well. It's just bring on anyone really. But yeah, Villarreal and Benidorm's my option.
Bring on your international. I was going to say we've beat them already, but we'll adapt the song as it comes for the draw, or Jamie O'Keefe will write another one. As I say, the draw. Do make sure you check out our reaction tomorrow, Talking Reds special, and also the audio as well. And then after that, in terms of after that in the week, Liverpool travel to Forest, but we're going to talk about that straight away. If you're joining us on the live stream, if you're enjoying this as a podcast, we've got a couple of inserts now, so it was earlier in the week or later last week. I think it was later last week. Neil went to Anfield to speak to a couple of people about the Anfield Road development and how that's getting on. So you're going to hear Neil do a couple of interviews on that. And then I spoke to Anfield musician Chloe Noon as well about everything that she's up to, really exciting stuff she's been doing over the next 6 months and all the exciting plans over the next year as well. So you'll get a couple of inserts if you're on the podcast. If you're on the live feed, you'll come straight back and we'll be previewing Forest. It's always a lot to remember. Hi, live people. Okay, cool. Forest then, Emma. It's a bit of an old school tie. I'm an old school man now. I'm 40. How would you be approaching it from a Liverpool point of view? It's an interesting one. Is it because he's rotated a lot in the cups? And listen, he's done well from it. We've got a shiny one already this season, but there is that international break as well, which means he can maybe play a couple of the players who aren't necessarily going to be sort of travelling a lot. I'm thinking about someone like a Joel Matip who doesn't go away with Cameroon. Also, Mo and Bobby didn't get many minutes, in the week. So there's options to start them. But there's obviously his dream team of Taki and Origi that's done him pretty well. And how would you be approaching it and how strong do you think he'll go?
Yeah, well, firstly, there's a bit of personal interest in this for me because my family is sort of living Nottingham way, so brother-in-law's a season ticket holder at Forest, so a bit of a local kind of derby there. I think some of the names you've mentioned, the likes of Taki and Origi, they'll probably be expected to come on, if not start. I think Taki might start. I think he'll start with Bobby, and it wouldn't surprise me if Mo maybe gets an hour. I think it'll be a strong team. I think he has to approach it strongly because Forest are in a fantastic moment. Their form has been brilliant in the Championship.
Yeah, won again last night, didn't they?
Yeah, so they're absolutely flying at the moment, and Cooper's done a brilliant job since he's come in. So they've already beaten 2 Premier League teams already in the Cup, Arsenal and Leicester City, I think it was. So a really, really tough game for Liverpool, and obviously the history around both clubs in this competition is pretty self-explanatory. So I think he has to go strong. And I think he should because, we've been talking about the squad depth and how everyone's in form, everyone's fit. So why not go for all the competitions? Absolutely, 100%. Play not necessarily your strongest 11, but play a team that's strong enough and capable enough of beating them. And if not, have players on the bench that can come on and turn it into the strongest 11.
Yeah, they've got a proud history, Gareth, a European Cup, and there's plenty of clubs around there who can't say that.
Yeah.
But they have got one, and they're going to be bang up for this. Liverpool is a step up of who they've played this season, both in the league and in the cup. But as Emma says, they couldn't be going into this in better form, in a better feeling sort of internally, really. But I just think whoever Liverpool pick, we could talk about 5 changes, we could talk about 8 changes, we could talk about 10, but the players you're still bringing in are still real top quality.
Yeah, I mean, Forest are a good side, unbeaten since the end of January, going for the playoff spots. QPR, you mentioned, the beat on Wednesday night, above them in the league. I think they were 6th, and Forest are currently 8th. And they actually 1-0 down. And then they get 3
equaliser. It's a belter.
Oh, it's an absolute storm. And it's that lad.
He must have done it again because they're all shouting shoot.
Yeah, it's the right back, isn't it, who's on loan from Middlesbrough, who's looked really impressive in the FA Cup games that I've watched when they've been on the telly. And look, it's going to be rocking there as well. I mean, you mentioned the European Cups that they won, and there is this history between the sides. And, they knocked us out the European Cup when we held it. They beat us in a League Cup final. They beat us in another League Cup semi. And, there's old beef there, isn't there? And also as well, I mean, I've known some Forest lads from at uni and stuff, and they've got that thing where, because of the European Cups and because of what Brian Clough did there, they think they belong in the Premier League, and they don't expect to be knocking around below that, and they've been waiting for their time, and it's been 23 years since they last played Liverpool, which is absolutely wild. I mean, I can remember them being in the Premier League. Yeah. But yeah, 23 years. The last game was 1999, and of course, Emma touched on it there as well. The last time we played them in the FA Cup was Hillsborough. So there's that as well. I believe there is stuff. Ideas of fans meeting up and survivors meeting up and things like that, which is a good thing, and you would expect that. And it's worth saying that for every club's got some blades, but every club has got good people, and Forest has got some good people, and some of their fans have made the effort over the years to talk about Hillsborough, talk about their experience of it. So that there'll be a tinge of sadness there as well. But it's a big game, and the reason it's on the telly 6 o'clock on a Sunday on ITV is that TV executive somewhere's gone, oh hello, little bit of a banana skin there. You never know. And I'm sure the Forest lads will get themselves fueled. The ground will be rocking. And it's back to what Klopp was saying for me about, starting quickly, because you want to start quickly in this game. Show them who's boss, show them who's the Premier League team, show them who the team is who's going for the title, and quieten the crowd. Because if Forest get up in any way, then, we could have problems. I think because of that as well on the team, like he went, he changed everything almost, didn't he, for Norwich in the FA Cup, and you had 2 different centre-halves and things like that. I'd maybe keep Virgil in me, just because, he's that absolute rock. I think if you're coming up against him, you're like, shit, Virgil's there. I think he changes everything around them when he's on the pitch as well. And he doesn't seem to mind just playing loads of minutes, because he's just there, isn't he? It's not like he's sprinting up and down the pitch. He's just at the back going, go on then. So I think having him there as the rock. Naby as well is someone who didn't play any minutes at all at Arsenal, but has looked decent recently, I think. So I think he's another one who doesn't feel too second string, who can come in and be doing a job for us in midfield as well. So I think maybe the lineup's a bit more of a mix rather than like 10 changes this time around.
How you feeling about it, Cam? Are you going? Are you dipping into the overdraft? It must be a new ground for a young man like you.
Yeah, new ground I'm made up, to be honest. It's one of them, like every round of the cup, I'm always like, oh, like Forest or, someone like that, like a proper old school ground. I can't wait for it. But like they're saying there, I think we've got to go with a bit of experience, because if you put out all the kids there, I mean, obviously, I know the professionals and that, but that ground's going to be rocking, isn't it? You just need to go in and just quieten them down as quick as possible. But yeah, I think what he'll probably do is he's probably going to get them into Kirby saying, like, look, who can give me minutes on Sunday, because we're getting over the line to the international break, aren't we? And then we've got a nice break. But it's just all this, like the game's just coming in thick and fast, aren't they? It's just, what a week. Like, Brighton and Arsenal now, like a new ground on Sunday. We could be going back to Wembley. It's just boss.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a few comments I'll bring in. Anna Roberts says, definitely want to see a bit of Divock and Taki Sunday, bit of Harvey Elliott. I haven't even thought about Harvey. It just shows. I was thinking about Keita and Curtis, who obviously Jones came on last night. Keita's not involved, but has played really well. But yeah, Harvey Elliott, I know another sort of fantastic option. Joe Gomez mentioned there, lots of lads who are more than capable of getting the job done, well rested and time to prep. Yeah, it'll be interesting if he goes sort of in a similar way. So what else there? Is I'm saying we'll play a strong side because it's the quarters, which is also a thing to think about. It's one game from Wembley again, Emma. Do you know what I mean? We've only just been down there. I think I left a couple of things. I could maybe pick them up. Do you know what I mean? It's back to Anfield South days, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And Klopp's spoken about this. He said, there's not that many games until you can get to Wembley again. So it is important. It's a cup final. It's a massive cup final. Quarter final. Yeah. It's a massive game. It's against a team banging form. So I think he has to go strong. Yeah, for me, like I say, I'd probably make 3 or 4 changes, but I 100% agree with Gareth. I'd keep probably Virgil in, maybe Robbo. I'd have one of the front 3 in. So I'd have like either Jota, Diaz, Firmino, and then I think Salah will start anyway. And then probably Divock and Taki maybe. And then midfielders. They're all first teamers these days, aren't they? So any of them really. Harvey,
I'd be tempted to pick one of Fabinho and Henderson. I think, Emma, just for that sort of solidity in front of the box, because mention some of those players like Curtis Jones, Keita, Elliott. You'd back any 2 of those 3 to play well and shine if they had a Fab or a Hendo behind them.
I agree with that, and I think Forest, just to kill that that first 45 minutes where Forest will be wanting to come out, and as Gareth says, the crowd's going to be right on their side. So just having someone like Fabinho probably would be my choice, just to put in some big tackles early on and sort of quieten them down and mop things up. And then once you've got a bit of a base, then you can maybe switch things around in the second half.
Yeah, I think what we're all talking about here is showing the Gulfing class early. So we know, Gareth, that we're a better team than them, and they know that as well. But there's knowing it, but thinking, well, it's 11v11. But if we can go on the pitch straight away and show what we're about and the quality that we've got, suddenly the players are thinking, I'll just, let's keep this to 2-3 and we'll all fight over who's getting Mo Salah's shirt.
Yeah. I mean, what I've liked about watching Forest so far in the Cup, I'm not watching them in the league, but I've watched the Cup games, is the heart, the spirit, some of the stuff that we talked about Liverpool, really. So I would expect them to have a go. I don't think they're going to sit back and just try and take the sting out the game and all that kind of thing. They're going to try and embrace the fact that the ground will be rocking, the fact that they do think they're a big club and deserve to be in games like this, all of that coming together, a 6 o'clock kickoff as well, under the lights-ish. So I think they'll try and have a go early doors. And, that Jed Spence, who we were talking about before, who scored a fantastic goal in the week, he was brilliant against Arsenal. So we've got to watch him. He's their version of Trent, if you like, oldie Trent. But, he's looked decent. He could cause us problems. And it'd be really interesting to see what side it is. I think some of it will come down to what Emma's talking about the sort of the sports science of it almost, in that, they'll be having a good look at them in Kirby and saying, well, who can go again? Who needs a bit of a rest? I mean, you'd be surprised to see, like, Robbo, wouldn't you? Because, like, he put absolutely everything into Arsenal and looked goosed in that interview afterwards. So, I'm not sure where Tsimikas is at, because he seems to be he was out recently, wasn't he? But see where that's at. We've not had the press conferences yet, so we've not had the updates.
Cam, is your picture frozen?
No, it's day one frozen.
Hi everyone, having a couple of technical difficulties I'm trying to sort it. Just bear with us, please. So Cam, I can see you, but I can't see them. Is that right?
Yeah.
All right. I'll disappear off. Hang on one sec.
No worries. Doing a show on my own here. Didn't need that after last night, but
just talk about the away end for a bit. People want to hear it. You know what I mean? I'm trying to sort this out. Go ahead, Cam.
Oh, no, it was.
Do play ratings 1 to 11. Go ahead.
No, it was boss. And when that second went in, it was just, I've got a massive scar on my leg and that, but it was boss, and then the coach home as well. And Ian just said, give us a song. And knowing the best day to be given a song, sorry, but didn't expect to be doing this show on my own. How was the away end? Yeah, it was boss. It was a bit nerve-wracking at the start, but it was boss in the end. Cam, what's your take on crisps? Only ever, I don't know, only not really into crisps, to be honest. But yeah, sorry if it was a bit of a boring answer. Talk about how we won at the Emirates twice with our McDonald's kit. Yeah, boss. That last night in the League Cup one, they were, I reckon they're two of the best aways this season so far. That League Cup one especially. It was belter.
Hiya, Cam, you've got me. I'm going to carry this until we come back in. You can't hear me?
Go on. Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you now, yeah. Sorted. Yeah.
You can hear me now, yeah? You can hear me now?
Yeah.
Right, sound. All right, so I'm going to jump in while I think someone's, I think the cleaners unplugged the studio Mac in Man Island. So it's just one of them, innit? But no, me and Cam were talking before the show. Tell by my voice, I've had a couple. Last night, I got in about 4 o'clock. What time did you get in?
4:30, the bus dragged into Rachel Matthews.
Everyone. How did you find the concourse at half time? It was weird, wasn't it?
Yeah,
kind of like, not like dead nervous, but just like a little bit like, what's going to happen now?
Yeah, I thought it was a bit, everyone was just getting nervous, but like I said at the start, it's that stage of the season, isn't it? Where everyone's just a bit like, it wasn't really like bouncing or anything. Everyone was just a bit like, let's just like try and get a goal. And then compared to at the end, it was just bossed though. But it was, but as you said, that's this stage of the season, it's going to happen, isn't it? Everyone's going to be nervous. But like as Virgil said the other day, we've all just got to embrace it now.
Yeah, see, I felt, I don't know what it was, because I was behind the goal, you were around the side. I think we were a little bit more. It was one of them games. If it was at home watching it on the telly, I would have been having kittens. But it weren't that bad in the ground. But even then, I think on the pitch they were much calmer than what we were in the end anyway.
Yeah,
I did never look fraught, and I loved the reaction to Alisson's save, because it was just kind of like there was no recriminations. You're just like, right, it's done. Just get on with it. Do you know what I mean? Just carry on. And then the maturity that shows. I think we scored about 2 minutes later, don't we? Like 2 or 3 minutes later, the goal comes.
Yeah.
And What do you reckon? I've only seen it back this morning. You know what? I reckon Ramsdale could have done better with both of them. You know.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know what you mean, but like that, as you said, like we were saying just before the show, like that Firmino goal, like the skill, he's probably not expecting him to do that. As you said, like you were saying before, it was basically like a back heel, wasn't it? But yeah, I mean, he's a weird one, that Ramsdale. When he first got him, I was a bit like, I just weren't into him at all. I thought he grew on me a bit. I think he's a good keeper.
You know, he loves a camera save, don't Cam? He loves it. Loves a camera save.
Yeah.
Loves flapping the arms around a little bit. For me, anyway. But
yeah,
you know, I think I don't know. I mean, look, I think he's good. He's athletic. He's agile and all that. But I wouldn't say them like in a million years for what we've got. I mean, I probably wouldn't even trade them for Gallagher. Maybe that is me being a little bit biased, but it shows that, you know, the strength and depth that we've got all over the pitch now.
Yeah, I know. It's a weird one with Keller, isn't it? Because obviously Alisson is, you know, he's the best keeper in the world for me. I always think, like, if Keller was to go, like, who do you reckon he'd, like, go to in the Premier League? Like, you'd say he's top 6?
You know what? I think it's a weird one. I think with the keepers and that, it's like, unless you're exceptional, they're just much of a muchness. Do you know what I mean? So I think he's definitely Premier League level. So if he was starting week in, week out for, I don't know, even West Ham.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think you could argue with that. I think Fabianski's all right. Again, apologies for anyone just tuning in. We are trying to get people back online. It's just we're having a few technical gremlins, so to speak. So I'm going to knock on my proper microphone in. It was wet yesterday, wasn't it? Fucking hell.
Yeah, I know. It was horrible, wasn't it? I was soaked right through, but didn't help that we got there 2 hours before kickoff as well. We're normally there just like right on kickoff, but we were there right early, so we were like looking for cover in that. I didn't really dress appropriately, to be honest. So
and the wind bought a match, but the wind was blowing the rain under the sand as well.
Yeah.
Which didn't help where we were. Like, it was like you think you're all right, and then just starts blowing a little bit, and you get soaked.
Yeah.
But one of them. I had a little laugh the other day with Bernardo Silva's interview after they drew the other day. Liverpool weren't even mentioned. I don't know, this has been picked up in the discourse and that, but it took them about 10 seconds to mention Liverpool.
Yeah.
And you get the sense that, you know, all right, we appreciate how good City are, but it appears that, you know, they're pretty nervous about us. And I'm just curious whether that's going to change now, because the pressure's kind of been off us because we've been playing catch up and whatever. And now it's pretty much neck and neck. You know, I just what if I could wish for anything in all this, it'd just be to not get nervous. The crowd more than anything. The crowd, I think that doesn't have to transmit down. I think it transmits more down than, you know.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's quite lucky that some of the home games got left. It's the Derby and United, so I don't think there's going to be a nervous. Everyone's going to be up. It's going to be rocking, isn't it? But it's your Watford that are 12. Do you know what I mean? It's good. Like,
here we go. Houston, can you hear me? Houston,
yes, the internet broke. We ran
out
of
internet. I've been having my one-man show here, getting asked what crisps are like and everything, so we want to leave to it.
Fucking brilliant, Cam. We'll leave all that in. Listen, we need to get out because Neil needs to get in and do some calls. But just to finish off, Gareth,
let me disappear so you can wrap up, John. Okay.
I'm trying. So basically, Gareth, it's a big game. It's a big end to the season. Someone made a comment before saying it feels like it's going to be special. It's all there for them, isn't it? And another piece of that is on Sunday. So let's win. Let's get another Wembley semi-final. Let's get another step to all these cups.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, Klopp said that momentum is a flower easily trampled, and we don't want it trampled on Sunday. So whatever you think of the FA Cup, the importance of it and all that, now is not the time. We're in the quarters. This is the furthest we've gone under Klopp. Now we want to go all the way, win the thing, put it in the cabinet, and have a boss truck parade at the end of the season with the Premier League, the European Cup, the FA Cup, the League Cup, the other Premier League that we never got to have a parade for. Imagine it. Imagine a party in the city. Imagine how it go off that we finally properly get to celebrate big cups. And this is another step of that journey. So let's beat them. Let's beat Forest. Let's say ta-ra duck to everyone in Nottingham. Hope that adds.
See, that was worth waiting for, wasn't it? Wasn't that good? We're going to trample all over their flowers. We're coming to Nottingham. We're going to jump all over the Forest, trample on everything, up the Reds. Nice one to Cam for doing 10 minutes on his own.
Yeah, nice one.